Hi, we're here for the next episode of Geek Corner, and we're with Neat today. This is Jay Lampard. Jay,
Hello.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm the UK and Ireland product specialist, so technical support here in the UK.
Brilliant. And we are going to be talking, lots of people are talking about ease of use, AI, Boyd. What have you got that you can show us from Neat?
Yeah, we've got loads of things going on. So obviously we've got quite a small portfolio at Neat, but we're showing off what we're doing to expand the use case of all those. We're doing everything over the network. We haven't got trailing USB-C cables back to bars and things like that. We've got sharing content over the network. We've got camera switching. We've got intelligent audio, getting rid of lots of aircon noises and things like that. So yeah, hopefully we can take you through some scenarios.
We'll get stuck in. Right, Jay, lots of people have got 360 cameras. You've got the Neat sensor. What does it do and why is yours special?
So it's 2-in-1. It's a full 360-degree camera system that can pick up lots and lots of people, even in a large boardroom. And it's also a full 16 mic array. Okay, so you've got the sources there to make sure that everybody's included in the meeting as best as possible. Here's an example now. We're not in a call at the moment, but we're going to dial into one, right? So if I join into that call, we're looking at each other. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is going to start looking at the back of our heads. Mm-hmm. Okay. After about 4 seconds or so, it's kicked in, and it's going to track around and scan everybody, and it's got a better view of us in front of us. But as soon as someone at the end of the call starts, piping up, We've got to pay attention to them. We'll have a look at them, and we'll cut to the front of room cameras again. Obviously, in these long, boring sessions, where everybody's got far too much to talk about, we'll probably start talking around to each other. Yeah. We'll absolutely start ignoring everyone at the end of the call. But at home, I feel more included because the Neat sensor's kicking back in. Not only with better camera views, but the audio is up nice and close as well. So you're either using the audio here and in conjunction with the audio at the front of the room.
So we've got inclusivity for everybody. Yep. Everyone's always looking at a nice camera shot. Yep. We've got a clever camera because if anyone knows Wayne Mason, he's quite big and you've managed to cut him out of this picture because he is in the room with us. So in addition to it being a full 360-degree camera, this has got a party trick that no one else can do.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's a fully self-contained unit, right? So I can move it, it'll start scanning around the room and it'll scan everyone like that. I could secure it to the desk if I wanted to, but I can also suspend it off a cable like a pendant just above the eye line to the screen.
Can you do that?
Yeah, well, probably not so well in this room because I don't have a very long cable. But what we'll do is you'll see it kind of kick in action. It'll start scanning around the room and it'll start picking everyone up when I'm not blocking it, okay? Yeah. So that's basically what we'll do. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing that in a meeting. But the idea
we get it up nice and high with the lights and it's less...
Absolutely, and nothing else on the table other than your Neat pad, which is really useful.
Brilliant. So we've got the hardware, but you guys are really focusing on some smart stuff behind it. And I want to move on to that now. So we're back now to talk about Pulse. Now, we talk at 10AV a lot about track AV and monitoring stuff and looking at trends and how rooms are being used and trying to look at how they're going to be used in the future. You guys have been playing with sensors and things that we talk about a lot since 2019, I know. And you call it Pulse. Can you talk us whistle-top tour Pulse?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a completely cloud-based management platform, and it does all the boring stuff that you probably expect from a management platform, like it will do some of your network settings, you change your updates, and you can change the way that the screen switches off after a certain amount that someone's not been in the room. All the stuff that we would want to have in a management, right? Right. Don't forget, every single Neat device that we have, every room system has IoT sensors. So a perfect example of that, I'm going to actually click onto one of my bars in my shed. So we're in London at the moment. So this is all over the cloud. I can click on it and I can see in there, thankfully there's no one in there because I can see the people count, the occupancy number. This is all live, constantly polling data. I can see temperature, humidity, volatile compound, CO2, and all of that gets compiled into some of those services that you were talking about. So that's kind of Pulse as it was at the beginning. But we also have some kind of standout features. So if I just click onto this device here, so this is a Neat Bar Generation 2 and a pad. I can click on that. I can see all the the network information, all the firmware, the software, everything. I can change the settings. But here's a nice party trick. We can press remote control. Now, on my Neat pad and on my screen in my shed at the moment, it's saying Jeremy Lampard would like to connect to this device with a 15-second countdown timer. And it says, do you allow or deny? And I can press yes or no on the pad, right? At the end of that 15 seconds, we're going to imagine that this is a meeting room that someone had a question about and there's no one in there. So we're going to be allowed into there automatically. You can see there, this is a Zoom room. I could start a meeting. It does say Jeremy Lampard is controlling your screen everywhere, so you could shut me out whenever you wanted. But importantly as well, I can go into the deep-rooted settings, so I can press System Settings. I've got a very secure password here. And I can press OK, and then basically can go in there and then change all the system settings in front of a user. I can even do things like changing all of our framing options, which is what you kind of need to do when there's people in the room and set it all up. So that's one thing we like to shout about a lot with Neat Pulse. And the other thing as well is how easy it is to raise a ticket. So you can do things like press Submit Logs, it'll go straight to our support team, and you can get some immediate support back based on the logs that they've seen. So yeah.
So the hardware's all very shiny and nice. You're moving in the same direction we are. Absolutely. Services as opposed to product.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and it's going to be scaling, right? So we're making sure that we've got feature parity. So we've got as many of the options available in the pads or on the boards available in Pulse. You make those changes, it happens instantly, even inside a call. We've got profiles, so you could assign that to loads of different devices. And also, people want now really granular ways to do updates and not rely on Zoom Portal or Teams Admin Center and things like that. So we can just go in and say, actually, I want all my pads to update to this firmware on Sunday at 2 a.m. Go. And you can do that.
Brilliant. Now that leads into the next bit we're going to talk about in the final part of the video. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is App Hub. And just while you're watching, if you do ride a motorcycle into London, don't forget to bring shoes with you because you end up standing in boots all day. But App Hub, Jay.
Yeah, sure. So we've got here a standard Neat board. Okay, so this is one of our touch devices. You could load this with Microsoft Teams rooms. You could do it in Zoom rooms, or we've got it in App Hub, which is our native mode. This works on all of our touch devices, and that's because it's all about touching the screen, right, and operating all of your other business applications. So this isn't an exhaustive list. I use Pulse to get all the apps available that I want in my company, and then I can use Pulse to then send some specific devices, some specific applications. Okay, gotcha. So in this scenario, I might be a big Miro user. Okay, I do all of my company Miroings and things like that. I might want to do some fantastic, very important drawings. Okay, this is very, very important. But most important thing as well, I might want to go back. I might want to suddenly go into Neat Pulse and check all my other applications. I might want to go and look at some app-based digital signage. Easy, I can swap between all of these. But say I want to go back to my very important Miro board, which I've been doing. I'm in the same room as a Microsoft Teams room. So over to this side, we actually have a Neat bar running Microsoft Teams rooms. I am just going to press this handy Neat Share button that I pulled on the slide out menu, and that will then appear into my Microsoft Teams call, or just sharing onto that front of room system as well. So the camera from the front of the room can capture me. I can do all my interactivity on this device with my business apps, and look, everything I'm doing, and it's doing it live within that application. So if I basically come back here and stop sharing, you can see within the Pulse here, we have lots of different applications, very, very easy to work out how those are changed. I'm just going to get my internet to catch up with me. Here we go. Let's go to this specific device. I'm going to go through. Here's my applications. Oh, look, let's say I don't want this board to have Miro anymore. Let's turn that off, disable, and you can see there it's deleted from the app. Turn it back on, it would happen instantly as well. So that's how easy it is to manage App Hub.
So we've got now your hardware supporting a bunch of services.
Yes.
The services is where you're really developing, and I know there's some exciting developments coming out in the next few weeks.
Absolutely,
so we can talk about more about those later. You've given us some insight on that. But this is all part of the growth, the path of where you're heading now. Yeah,
we just feel like you've got technology in the room. When you're on your laptop, you don't only do Microsoft Teams calls or Zoom calls, right? You use all the other applications. I use Lucidchart all the time, and I use Jira all the time, right? When we're going through all of our projects and things like that. So why not have those available on a device where you don't need a laptop, just like you don't need a laptop when you're using your video conferencing devices as well. So that's what we're going for.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jay. That's neat.